Welcome to the third annual Mensches and Mimosas, JFS's celebration of our community heroes. I'm Jane Ginsberg, President and CEO of JFS. Tonight we will pay special tribute to an Albany legend and leader, Alan Islin, with the Ansha Weiss Community Builders Award. Many of you know this year's honorees because they serve on your boards and committees and give countless hours of hands-on work in classrooms, kitchens, and so much more in the organizations that you value. Thank you to our Mensches for allowing us to capture your awesomeness. Your selfless dedication, your leadership and talents contribute to the home we call the Capital District. Tonight we'll hear the stories of what inspires our honorees to do what they do, and we hope you'll come away from this event with your hearts as full as ours and feel inspired to become a volunteer yourselves. JFS has our own core of dedicated volunteer, who are all Mensches too. For example, our Project 5 volunteer drivers who take seniors where they want to go, giving them wheels and freedom. This celebration includes people in our community who receive JFS services. You'll learn about the essence of what we do and why we do it with pride and enthusiasm. JFS can only offer the free services and programs and support because of you. The funds raised tonight and the funds we will continue to raise throughout the year with directed and planned giving allow JFS to continue to be here for the community, just as we have since 1854. So let's get started.
Congratulations, Alan Islin, and all the JFS honorees. Thank you so much for all that you do for our community.
I'm so honored to be spotlighting our Mensches tonight. Be sure to tell us in the comments who you're here to support.
Our honorees are dedicated to respond to the needs of others in the community. Their inspiration comes from their numerous interests, their varied histories, and the growing needs around them. Their contributions make a difference, a big difference, and tonight we celebrate each of these mentioned.
The question that has been posed to me is, what inspires me to be a Mensch? I love being involved at B'nai Shalom Reformed Congregation, but I don't think that makes me a Mensch, so I'll answer a different question. Why am I involved? That answer is easy. It's because of the B'nai Shalom community. They are loving, tolerant, supportive, and such a good and fulfilling company to me. Some examples. Over the winter, I taught a Hebrew class, and in one class, I got turned around and I mixed up the grammar. The response from the class was one of understanding and even relief that they were not the only ones who found the material challenging. Being a part of a group as grounding as this one is, I want to support it. It's too big a part of my life to be on the fringes, so I get involved. Am I a Mensch for this, or am I incredibly fortunate?
I grew up in the former Soviet Union. I'm a first-generation Jewish immigrant, and we grew up without a sense of community. We knew we were Jewish, we had the traditions, but we really didn't have a religion, and we did not have a Jewish community. First and foremost, I think it's the people that I got involved with after we moved to Bethlehem. It's Honey and Zalman Simon. They created a really beautiful atmosphere. There's a lot of Russian-speaking Jews in this area, and older generation never really learn English well, so I'm able to be a bridge for that too. Whether it's deliveries for Shalom Pantry or any other program, sometimes Honey just needs help reaching out to the older people, and they are so grateful. Every time I talk to them, they want me specifically to bring the message of gratitude. Please tell Honey, or please tell whoever send them the help how grateful they are. So that makes me feel good, and that inspires me to do more.
When I retired, I felt that I wanted to be able to volunteer and give back more, because when I was working and raising a family, I really didn't have the time. So Shalom Food Pantry was one of the first places that I decided to volunteer. There's so much food insecurity that people don't realize, especially in Bethlehem. Nobody thinks that there's food insecurity, but there is.
I am the treasurer and a board member at Congregation Gates of Heaven in Schenectady, and I provide a lot of the financial support behind the scenes to keep our organization running smoothly, to hopefully free up others to do important service out in the community. It's something that I am proud of doing, and I hope to set a great example for my boys of you should use your talents, whatever they may be, to give back to the community. And those might be things that aren't traditionally recognized as volunteer skills, but whatever you have, give that back. And what you have is something only you know.
I think it all comes together. It all shows what your values really are. It would be so easy to just live life day to day and do fun things, but that's not really how I want to live my life.
Hello, Neil Golub here, wishing all the esteemed JFS Mensches and of course Alan Islin mazel tov and sincere thanks for all you've done for the community and for all the people in our area. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil, for your meaningful support. Your contributions to JFS and the Capital Region make an immense difference, just like our honorees. It's generosity like yours that helps people like Lenore.
I'm 94 years old. I had a heart attack, and that's why I've been getting the meals, because it makes it easier for me. I enjoy the meals. I thank them for getting the meals. The meals are very good. It comes with a variety of food. It comes nice and hot every day. There are different foods that I've never even eaten before. I've learned to eat. I enjoy it. The people that come and deliver it are very pleasant. It's nice to socialize for a few minutes. I thank Jewish Family Services. I appreciate the meals, and I thank Lisa Galley for being such a wonderful, kind, caring person.
Let's listen to our mention whose inspirations are all about the kids. Whether our honorees help in the classroom, provide youth programming, or bring the enjoyment of Judaism to our teens, the development of our youngest children are in very capable hands.
I'm here at Mimosas Hebrew Day School, a one-on-one assistant to a young girl. I help her with her writing and her math and any work she needs me to help her with. But I also help out in the other classrooms when they need a teacher for substituting. So I've been in nursery, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade. And I love to work here because I just fell in love with the kids in the school, and they have a special place in my heart.
Do you ever think sometimes of what you've learned as a volunteer, like over the years? Like, you started young, I started young too, and things have certainly evolved. What kinds of things what do you think you've learned over the years?
To me, it's always been, it's all about the kids in our Jewish community. And that's really how I've maintained my involvement. And, it's always seems to be about the Jewish piece for me.
So when your kids are involved, it's a good way to get pulled in again. I know. My kids went to the Hebrew Academy in the 90s, and then somewhere along the line, after many years, I was asked also to be on the board. And I love anything to do with kids. So, my career was working with children, so that was kind of a good fit for me.
I want to see Jewish teens have a safe place where they can be with other Jewish teens and feel comfortable and know that they're not alone. Because a lot of kids, when they go to high school, sometimes they're like the only Jewish teen in their school or that they are aware of. Mm-hmm. So that to me is probably one of the main reasons that I want to see Mifgash continue to thrive, so that Jewish teens have a place where they can identify with other Jewish teens and bond.
Which makes perfect sense. I feel that way with the Hebrew Academy, and that our community needs, a community Jewish day school where kids can go and learn and go out again into their communities. Hebrew Academy has so many graduates who have gone on to all kinds of amazing things, but a lot of them in Jewish education, which is something that we really want to see continue.
I was asked to explain why I do what I do. And it really comes down to a couple of things that I tell my kids all the time. First of all, anything worth doing is worth doing well, and that integrity is doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And somewhere back when my son, who's now 22, was about 12, I realized that there was a real need for us to have youth programming at Agudat Achim for first our middle schoolers. There was already programming for our high schoolers, and that somebody needed to step up to do that. And nobody else was volunteering, so I did. And so somehow over the last decade or so, I have been Kadima advisor, USY advisor, and youth commissioner. And I'm really proud of what we've been able to do for our tweens and teens. And even during the pandemic, we were able to have programming like going to the food bank and celebrating our graduates. And that gives me a really good feeling of what we've accomplished for our teens at Agudat Achim.
To Alan Islin and all the JFS Mensches, congratulations on your honor. On behalf of the Mastery family, we give you our heartfelt congratulations. Thank you for all you do for Jewish Family Services and the whole entire Jewish community.
Thanks, Julie. We are so fortunate to have you and your family support for so many years. Because of your dedication to our mission, we can fund the free services JFS provides.
Last year, my mom was living independently in her Florida condo. She was 99 years old and in relatively good health. A fall in her apartment triggered a series of events that led to hospitalization and rehab. Without any experience, I quickly realized we needed experienced guidance as we prepared to move Mom to Albany. A single call to Linda Schrager at Senior Resource Network enabled us to put a plan in motion that greatly relieved our stress and anxiety. With her guidance, we were able to move Mom and my sister to an appropriate apartment, connect with community hospice, and arrange for additional caregivers to give my sister both guidance and respite. Thanks to this outstanding support, Mom was able to spend her final days in relative comfort and surrounded by family. I really have no words to describe how meaningful this service was to our family. The relationships and strength of our Jewish community are very important. These exceptional volunteers help build these bridges and keep them strong.
We're happy to contribute in the small ways that we are able to. But I do want to say one thing about this Mensch business. I'm no Mensch. Perhaps a Mensch in progress. Someday I hope to get there. However, one thing is absolutely clear. My wife Linda for sure is a Mensch. I just drive the car. She helps get our program of participation in the community going every single day.
We'd like to thank Colony Chabad for selecting us for this honor. It's been a pleasure to participate in their efforts to reach people of all ages, to bring them closer to the Jewish community and to have a positive effect on their lives. Congratulations to all the other honorees.
We're meeting with people at their most difficult time in their lives, and Jane and I have really established long-term relationships with some of the families that we're serving. We just met a lot of nice people over the years, and it's been a pleasure working with the clergy in this area and the community, and the community's been very supportive of us, which we very much appreciate.
It's a wonderful community. And we're very grateful to the community for the trust and the confidence that they have placed in us. And we hope you always consider this a soft place to land.
Well, good evening and congratulations to this year's honorees. To thank them for all of their work in our community, but also an opportunity to say thank you to Jewish Family Services of Northeastern New York for your continuous work of providing support, services, and resources for individuals and families throughout our community.
I've been on the board of the Jewish Federation for 20 years. I went on the board in the year 2002, and I've been going to their meetings and serving on their board ever since. I was the campaign chair, I was the treasurer, and I was the board chair. Why did I get involved? There's got to be more to life. There's got to be more to our community than simply putting the time in, accumulating assets, accumulating credentials, and going to work every day until you get your Social Security check or your pension check. We are a community. We have to be a community, and we have to engage. Some of the dollars that you give when you make your annual contribution to Federation goes as part of our grant allocation to JFS. And it helps, and that money is used directly to help the more vulnerable members of our community, to help them get through. I want to thank JFS for honoring me as one of their Mensches, and I wish them good luck and success going forward in the future.
When I left home to go to college, more than a few years ago, I never really considered the importance of staying connected to my Jewishness. I knew it was important to my parents, and I'd never actively considered not being in some way Jewish, but I had no idea what that would mean. I can honestly say that if it wasn't for Hillel and API, the Jewish fraternity at Vanderbilt, my connection to staying Jewish wouldn't have been as easy or maybe even possible. Those institutions gave me the resources, the opportunity, and the community to remain Jewish. I was able to explore what I wanted out of my Jewish experience, and that shaped me into both the person and the Jew that I am today. I've told this story many times, but it bears repeating. Nearly everything that's good in my life stems from the minute that I first walked into the API house at Vanderbilt, which led directly to my involvement in Hillel. It led me to working for the betterment of the Jewish community, raising a Jewish family, becoming the international president of API, and serving for all these years on the UAlbany Hillel board, and now to being named a Mensch by JFS. I hope that through our efforts at UAlbany Hillel and the Capital Region Jewish community, we can inspire similar stories in today's students.
I want to give a shout out to former board chair Steve Ribner, who now volunteers to deliver meals and groceries for JFS. Volunteers play a vital role in reaching people in our community. I'm hoping tonight's event is making your wheels turn and inspiring you to volunteer with JFS or another organization in our community. Here's what Steve has to say.
I volunteer for JFS and deliver groceries to people in the community. It's a really simple thing to do. I pick up the groceries, I drop them off, but the magic happens when the people I deliver groceries to express such sincere gratitude for receiving the groceries. And over time, we've gotten to know each other, and I can actually tell whether things have changed in their life. So being able to be that link between the vast services that JFS offers and people in the community who have needs, I feel honored to be able to do that. As Steve articulated, being a Mensch is inspired by helping others, which in turn helps make our community grow stronger and more connected.
It's just wonderful to have the opportunity to use Project 5 because they're there for me whenever I need them. So Lisa will go out of her way to get these wonderful drivers that are just so great. And they know the areas because the GPS is great. But I really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing they actually become my friends. And I hope they look at me in the same respect.
Being raised by my mom and always knowing that you need to go the extra mile and you need to be kind to others, treat others the way you want to be treated. If you see something that's not right, then you should take care of it. Or if you can help somebody, and you're able to, then you should do it. And I would say that throughout my life, I have enjoyed helping other people. It's very rewarding, and I'm glad that someone's noticed.
When I think of what has motivated my behavior, I recall the story of the Akedah, and I think specifically about Abraham's response to the calling of God. His response was one word and then action. Hineni. And that has been my motivation. Not that I have heard or received the calling from God, but I have strived to live my life so that when I hear something, when I see something, I can respond, Hineni. As the song Olam Chesed Yibaneh says, if we build this world from love, we will say Hineni to the world and to those in need, and then think of what is possible.
For me at least, it's about doing whatever needs to be done to keep the community going strong. You come to a place like Albany, and it was so welcoming, and there were so many services here, and everybody was so friendly to us when we came. But that doesn't all just happen. Maybe friendliness comes naturally, but that doesn't all just happen without anybody doing anything. And so you find out the things that you can do and the things that your community needs, and try and find the intersection of those things.
Exactly. No, part of moving in a small community and getting to live in that warm community is everybody has to do their little bit. And right now, we're doing our little bit. You just have to pitch in where you can, what works for your schedule, what fits with your lifestyle, and do as much as you can to make the community that you want to live in.
I first got started, working, for the VOD because I wanted a kosher restaurant in Albany. And we're still working on that.
For me, I think it's just about making sure that everybody has adequate food for their own needs, whether they need the highest level of kashrut, or they just are interested in making sure that they have an adequate supply of Jewish food that feels comfortable and familiar to them. And likewise for me, working within the Jewish community, both professionally and a volunteer basis, it is something that's just, I think, written into my DNA. It was what was in my family, it's what currently is, and as much of this is for our children and hopefully our future grandchildren.
Congratulations to all the Mensches for your well-deserved recognition from JFS, and thank you so much for all you do in building our community.
These honorable mention serve as leaders in our community, lending their time, expertise, and kindness to strengthen the organizations in which they serve and the people who are impacted by their efforts.
I was on the board of JFS for about 10 years, serving the last several years as treasurer. I've spent numerous years serving on boards of various organizations in the Jewish community, including the JCC, Ohav Shalom, and the Daughters of Sarah. I am constantly amazed at the dedication and enthusiasm so many people have in the various organizations in the Jewish community. I've spent almost my entire life as a member of the Albany area. I grew up here, and my wife and I raised our children here. It's always wonderful to see how many people are involved and dedicated to helping our Jewish community, the Albany community, and the world community in a variety of ways. I am thankful to be a part of it.
I'm thrilled to have been honored by Jewish Family Services and my colleagues at the Schenectady Jewish Community Center because I feel deeply about the role that the JCC plays in our community. For many, the JCC is an opportunity to learn more about the Jewish community and to help build bridges between people of different faiths, cultures, and backgrounds. As we prepare for the JCC's next century, I'm grateful to work with those who care so much about our members and our community. I'm honored to have been named a Mensch for my small role here, but I'm more humbled to work with such a passionate and caring team every day.
Hi, I'm Mark Koblenz, Chief Executive Officer of the Daughters of Sarah Community for Seniors. According to Jewish mystical tradition, at any given time there are 36 truly righteous individuals who inhabit the earth. We don't know who they are, they don't know who they are. Now, I'm not going to claim that I know any of them, but if I had a right to nominate one, I'd nominate Neil Manasseh. Neil is the embodiment of our core values at Daughters of Sarah. Kabed et avicha v'et imecha, honor your father and mother, and gimilut chasadim, perform acts of loving kindness. For over 14 years, in his quiet, unassuming, yet forceful way, shunning public acknowledgement, Neil has provided guidance, advice, direction, and support in numerous board capacities. His goal is simply and solely how to help, aid, revere, and display kindness to our residents, our mothers and fathers. To me, that is the purest definition of a mensch. So, congratulations, Neil.
Thanks, Mark. I couldn't have said it better about Neil myself. We so appreciate working with Daughters of Sarah and other long-term care facilities to bring Jewish chaplaincy support throughout the region.
I am really very impressed with the rabbi. I could talk to him. He's easy to talk to, and he's a fine gentleman.
I miss going to shul on Saturdays and Friday night, and this is an opportunity for my husband and I to have that feeling spiritually, mentally, emotionally. It's done us a world of good, and I wanted this to happen to the other people, the other residents as well. It brings back a lot of memories, a lot of things that have brought back through childhood and whatever. It's just been a wonderful experience.
Before we hear from more Mensches, I want to share a special presentation of the JFS Anshel Weiss Community Builders Award to Alan Islen. Alan, your community leadership, starting with your presidency of JFS in 1966, is nothing short of legendary. We are so honored to be counted among your list of cherished organizations. Rabbi Speen, no one could have presented as elegantly and personally as you. We are so grateful to you both. Congratulations, Alan.
Alan, it is my distinct pleasure and honor, not only as your rabbi, but as someone who cherishes the friendship we've shared for many years, and your being such a wonderful advisor and confidant to me in my rabbinate at Beth Emet, and as our senior past president of Congregation Beth Emet, to be the one to present you with this year's Anshel Weiss Community Builders Award from Jewish Family Services for serving humanity with humility, and I might add with distinction. Your role as a leader, both in our Jewish community here in Albany and in particular at Congregation Beth Emet, as well as our greater Albany community in the Capital Region, has been legendary and outstanding. And not merely within our own Capital District, but nationally, you have been a leader in the reform movement. And you are one of the only individuals nationally who has served both in leadership positions in the URJ, the Union for Reform Judaism, and at the Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion, and now currently have the distinction of being the first and only individual who is Vice Chair Emeritus of the URJ, the Union for Reform Judaism, and a Governor Emeritus of the Hebrew Union College. So not only has your leadership benefited all of us here at Beth Emet, in the Jewish community and in the greater Capital District, but nationally, you have really left a wonderful legacy within our reform movement. So for all of the many accomplishments and achievements and positions of leadership that you have served and done, and in the philanthropy that you have also done so beautifully in our greater community and nationally, we commend you, we congratulate you, and certainly wish you a hearty Yasher Koach as I present this award to you.
Thank you, Rabbi, and I want to express my sincere thanks for receiving this outstanding award for Jewish Family Services. My connection to Albany Jewish Services, Albany Family Services, goes back many years. And when I was president, the name was Albany Charity Services, and its main role was to take baskets of the poor and to the newcomers. And now when I look at the services that this organization provides and the breadth of its coverage, I am dazzled. And I am so pleased that over the years, unlike many situations, this organization has grown, it's added to its services, and it continues to be a wonderful, wonderful thing for the community far and wide. And thank you again.
Volunteerism is often instilled from generation to generation, l'dor v'dor. And here are 7 Mensches who add to the fabric of our community because of the example set by their parents.
You and Dad, over the years, have been an incredible inspiration for me as far as all the volunteer work you've done in the community.
I was a non-employed mother at a time when most women were not working. So that meant I either just sit home and do nothing, or I get something to do that would be satisfying to me, which started with children. We really became more involved as you both were attending religious school, and at a point where you both were required to be attending services and so on, we attended with you and we started on our journey there. And we always felt our synagogue, temple is our way, Beth Emet, is our home away from home. It's our Jewish community. And so whatever we could do to help there, we did.
What did you take home from that? You're giving to others, but how did that make you feel?
It feels good to be doing it, and if it in fact encourages other people to do things, that's a bonus.
When I think about what inspired me to be a Mensch, I think about my parents and my grandparents, and I realize I didn't have a choice. I was raised in an atmosphere of Menschlichkeit. My parents volunteered. They took positions of responsibility in volunteer organizations. They were always so appreciative and grateful for what they had. And that's how I was raised. So when I became an adult, a young adult, I started volunteering. I started taking positions of leadership in volunteer organizations, and it's just what you do. You help other people, you do what you can, and you're grateful for everything. And now when I look at my children as young adults, I realize that they couldn't help it either because they're doing the same thing. So whether there's a mensch gene or whether it's nurture that won out, we're just destined to be Mensches or Menschen.
Volunteering in Hadar is personally rewarding for me. I love helping people, whether they are looking for a gift for a Jewish holiday or a life cycle event. I feel that Hadar has made that day a bit more special. My love of volunteering goes back to the involvement my parents had in the Jewish community when I was growing up. My parents taught me that volunteering helps change the world because it strengthens us. Give your time and give from your heart. The meaning of life is to find your gift. The work of life is to develop it. The purpose of life is to give your gift away.
Following the examples of my parents who were actively involved in their synagogue and community, I learned the importance of giving back to others. Since I became a member, I have felt that it has been very important to be a volunteer, and I have participated on many committees and chaired a few over the years. But I definitely stepped out of my comfort zone when I became involved with the DAR. And I'm so glad that I did because I also get so much in return. It is hard to believe that I've been a volunteer at the gift shop for 10 years. I consider myself very lucky to have the opportunity to showcase the beautiful merchandise to customers from across the Capital District and beyond. Karen is a wonderful colleague to share this award with, and I've learned so much from her.
If I had to say what motivates me to be a mensch, it would be the intersection of both the Jewish values instilled in me as a child and the disability values instilled in me as an adult. When my parents and teachers encouraged me to undertake such activities as visiting with lonely elderly people in nursing homes and assisted livings, helping with tzedakah drives, even something as simple as stuffing envelopes for a Jewish charity, I got to experience both the wonderful feeling that giving back to your community gives you and the immense amount of pride that you feel in knowing that you've made a difference and that you're furthering one of the biggest tenets of your people.
When my dad's family and other families had to flee Nazi Germany, they weren't allowed to bring much with them. So when they arrived in the Albany area, the temples and the JCCs offered them discounted membership fees, and JFS was there providing much appreciated support. Today, new families are still arriving in our area, and they join the JCCs in order to start meeting new people. With our community spread out, the JCCs are important gateways for these new families. As Shelley Shapiro and others remind us, we must always be building bridges and strengthening bonds throughout the community. Our preschools, camps, and other programs strengthen our bonds with many hundreds of families, a scale that is hard to match. So I'd like to thank everyone for supporting all of our organizations, and especially all of you who install a sense of pride in our programming.
While volunteering for Jewish Family Services for the past 3 years, and most recently serving as board chair, I have been inspired. JFS has been nothing short of agile, as our staff have expertly and compassionately responded to our community's needs. Adapting and responding is in our DNA. It's what we've been doing since 1854. And with the continued support of our generous community and your faith in our work, we will persist with the same determination. Thank you to our Mensches and to Alan Islin for your dedication and for your commitment to helping our community organizations thrive.
Wow, I've said it each year, but it bears repeating. I'm overwhelmed by all of the truly incredible passion and dedication of our community. In 1966, 56 years ago, Alan Islin envisioned the importance of JFS. Today, he's the Anshel Weiss Community Builder Awardee. During these past 50 years, he has been a dedicated philanthropist with an eye toward innovation and quality services. And to our cherished partners and all of our Mensches, here's to you. JFS's awesome volunteers, including our own Mensch Ira Lobel, who do it all, including our board of directors and our event committee. You charge me up. And finally, the person who I owe it all to for making sure this event and all things JFS are taken care of and looking good, Monica Tan. Thank you. As I wrap up tonight and look toward the next year and years and the plans we're developing to expand JFS services, I couldn't begin to dream of making those plans without our donors and cheerleaders and supporters. From our visionary community leaders, Neil Golub and the Masry family, to our partners at Jewish Federation, B'nai B'rith Gideon Foundation, United Way, and others, and all of you who supported tonight's event. The services we offer would not be available without your giving. Your generosity inspires us and challenges us and enables us to do more. The pandemic not only highlighted the needs in our community and how JFS responded, but how you have stepped up and played an active role through your volunteerism and generosity. Our village needs you. Please, be connected and stay connected. We're in this together. Hey, remember me? If you're enjoying tonight's hors d'oeuvres and all the fixings, it's all thanks to 518 Kosher, Howard Gross, and Rabbi Moshe Bomzer, who got it all. Thanks so much. L'chaim.